Good evening, one and all. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, ma'am.
Okay. Today's class is string class, ma. How we'll handle more than one character that we are going to discuss here. String is a collection of characters in double quotes, right? Here, string literal can be represented in always a double quotes. Here we are having string constructor. The default constructor will create a string without data. That means no value will be there for that string. Suppose if you want to give any value, we'll give some characters. It will yes, string. So here, if you look at here, if I want to take a string, I have to take a string variable s and a new string. Ch, whatever the characteristics which have input under the type of char, those single characters are grouped now as A, B, C. Next, suppose string new string, this is a test string. If you want to assign it to a new string, the s value will be getting changed to s1. It will copy that, right? Why we will be using this string means for string handling functions, we are having whatever that string compare, string lower, string upper, string length, string reverse. For implementing such kind of functions, we will be using this strings. Okay. You make sure that you have already learned it in the C language. Just have a quick reference for that. The same way how you will be using that, the same way here it will be there. A small example was listed over here. String S1 is this. String S2 is yes. Sorry. String S3 is a test. String S4 is appending S1, S2 and S3 and storing it in the S4 and finding the length of S4. What is the function name? Length, Length. Length function always returns the number of characters in the particular string, including the space. Space also it will count. Don't think that it is not a character. Yes, it is a character in the programming language. Whereas in our general English, we don't count that as a character. But whereas in the programming language, they'll count it as a character. For such kind of functions, we will be using this strings much. Right? Under the strings, we have lot many functions like string compare to starts with so and so string starts with this or not. Index at so and so alphabet. Which index it was? What is the that ఇప్పుడు I am student st index of st where it was there I is 1 space is 2 I am 4 6 7th in the 7th index st substring was there in the string. That is the meaning of this particular string handling functions. So to implement all the string handling functions, we'll be using it. Substring means the particular thing is present in the string or not, at the ending or at the beginning. Concatenating means combining two things, replacing with so and so things with so and so things. Yes, lowercase and uppercase. These are the functions which you need to know and try to execute each and every function. You need to execute when you are provided with a lab. Please try to execute all these functions. Then you will know about string class. What the string class is meant for, it is also a data type, which means it is a collection of characters which are enclosed in double quotes. That is the first point. Second point, it has some string handling functions. We need to know about them. String concatenation, string compare, string index, string upper, string lower, string starting, string ending. String concatenation means comparing, combining, uppercase conversion to lower, lowercase conversion to upper. Depending upon the input, whatever you have specified, it changes simultaneously. Okay. Next, command line argument. What is meant by command line argument? Giving arguments to the main method at runtime. That is what command line argument. Here we are having argc and argv. Argc always tells the number of, that means the number of arguments you want to give it to the main. Argv is the vector. That means the list of arguments. So argc, argv are the arguments which we are providing it to the main method. How it will get implemented, we'll see with an example now. Right? So here, please look at this main method. Under the class test, we have taken a main method with the string argues. Then system.out.ln, you will be having a print set. You have set argument length. What are the arguments you are having? Then input arguments length. First of all, please enter how many arguments you want to give it to the main method. Yes, I'm entering 3 arguments. What are those arguments you want to give it? Into the vector, and vector is of character type. Remember, argv is a character type, argc is an integer type. Always give the count of the arguments. Arg vector takes the arguments list. Whatever you are giving, that argv will be considering, right? So here I took arguments as 3. So I am passing 0th argument as 1, 2, and 3. So I'm testing again with giving another input like 7 arguments now. I'm just giving 7 arguments. It will print for me. That's it. Okay. This is about command line arguments. Then inheritance is a very, very important topic, which is already known to you in your C++. Inheritance means acquiring some properties from one thing to the another thing. The best example for the inheritance is our human relationship, father and son. Acquiring the genes or genetics or some features of the father to the son, right? That is what inheritance. In this inheritance, the reusability of the code is useful. First advantage is the reusability of the code, right? The one which is giving the property is known as your superclass. The one which is taking the functions or methods or variables is known as your subclass or child class. It depends upon you. You can call it as the subclass, child class, or derived class. If we talk about super, no, we'll call it as subclass. If you call it as parent, no, we'll call it as child. Okay, if you call it as base, then the derived. Either of the word you take into the comparison and then go with the paired word. Okay. So here there are so many types of inheritance. Approximately some 4 to 5 inheritance are into our practice, but mostly we will be doing only 3. We don't use them much. According to our interest, we might be using, but basically we will be using only 3. Single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hybrid inheritance. Such kind of types are there. Single inheritance means from the parent to the child. Only one parent, one child. That is single inheritance. For example, there is a class by the name count, and there is a method by it and initializing it to 0, and we wrote a constructor with arguments, then want to print the method. Then I just want to inherit class 2 with the extents of class 1. So I'm passing the method, inheriting the methods. What I'm inheriting? The I value. That is the count value I'm inheriting into it. I'm getting the count of the count1 class into the count2. I'm inheriting it. Okay. Here, count into count. I'm getting this value from the previous class. Here, super class is the count. Child class is the count1. Got this? This is a simple example of your single inheritance. Or else we'll see another example. Before seeing the another example, please try to analyze the first example first under the single inheritance. Please look at this example clearly from here. Class count. Please look at and note it down. 1 second, please wait a minute. Yes, did you understand here? This count variable is shared with the child class, that is count1. Count1 class is having the variable count which is not defined under it, but it is still accessing it. Yes, someone kept one message. Varag means vector of arguments. That means list of arguments. What are the arguments you want to give it? Okay. It's an example description of another one. Yes. Please look at this important point. Member access in inheritance. As mentioned earlier, subclass extends to superclass. The subclass can access the variables or members of the superclass which are public or protected. Which are public or protected. Private members can't be accessed.
కాసేపు కుదురుగా ఉండని చెప్పాను నా కోసమా ఇది వెళ్ళిపోయింది మళ్ళీ ఏం స్పీడ్ గా పరిగెడుతుంది బాబు
Oh, Jansi. Jansi? Don't you have sense? Please. I instructed so many times, please not to disturb. When you have joined, please verify that you are unmute. Then you can talk. Your casual talks should not be there in between the class. Not only you are disturbing me, your friends also you are getting disturbing. And you are letting me know when you have entered into the class. I'll make a note of it. Please don't repeat it. Anyone should not repeat it again. Please make sure that you are mute always. If you want to talk anything, please chat with me while the class is going on. Okay? Private members can't be inherited into the child class. Remember this point. Private members can't be inherited into the child class. Private is meant for some secrecy. That secrecy should be maintained. And it's important that protected members, if any variable or a function written under the keyword protected, it sends that they are meant to be inherited. Compulsorily, they'll get inherited. Public and protected members will get inherited into the subclass. And by default, the access specifier will be private. Then please look at the next one, that is multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance means grandparents, parents, children. The same way the class strategy also will continue. Class 1 will inherit something into class 2. From class 2, the child class, that is class 3, will get into it. Always remember that class 1 will acquire something into class 2. Class 2 will give the acquired properties from class 1 to class 2 to class 3. That is what multi-level, level by level inheritance is possible. Here, a small example, class A is having a variable A that is getting printed in it. Then class B is inheriting, that is extending class A, whatever the public members and whatever the public variables or methods are there, I can have an access to them. So in class B, I have the scope of variable A because it is a public member. Those values I can inherit over here. So that I'll pass and I'll assign it to the variable B. Then show A and B. I'm just showing A and B variables. Then class C extends B. Whatever is there in the B, it gets completely extended into the class C. Now in class C, I can not only have B class variables, I can even have A class variables. That's the reason I can print A, B, C. Right? Then next one is method overloading. Already I told you it's just like function overloading. Same name with multiple arguments it takes. Such kind of function is known as your function overloading or method overloading. The same one there in this part. Okay. Reference to the previous example. That is what there here. Then using final with the inheritance. Final keyword is what? We can't change the definition of it. Further can't be possible. Suppose if I take a class as final, I can inherit it, but I can't change the definition of the method. It remains constant. That means it remains same. That is what the sense he just want to convey to you. Then abstract class and method. Abstract class means what, ma? What all it want to do, it will tell. But how it is doing, it won't tell you. That means the function definitions can't be there in that, but function declarations will be there. That is what
Excuse me,
abstract
ma'am.
class. Yes.
Is it method overriding or overloading?
Overloading only.
Okay, ma'am.
Is it there overriding?
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
overriding, huh? Let me
Method
check.
overriding.
Let me check then. Okay. Sorry, ma. I just forgot that. I'll just tell you what is meant by overriding.
Okay, ma'am.
I thought that over means loading only. I didn't check it properly. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll just explain it now. Overriding. Overloading is different with overriding. 1 second, ma. I am sorry, ma. I kept muted and I'm keep on talking. I'll just tell you what is meant by method overloading. Very simply, please listen to me. A class was there by the name A and another class was there by the name B. In both the classes, you took one method, that is display. Even on the top, even in the down. Display definition was there in both the places. You have defined it. But you are extending class B to class A. So whatever the definition was there in the class B will be overridden by the definition of the class A because it has an access. It overrides it. Whereas class A method can't override the class B method because it doesn't have a scope of inheriting it. Whereas B has been inherited from that, no? So whatever the subclass method was there, that will be getting replaced with the superclass method. ఎందుకంటే signature same కదా, same function name, same return type, same arguments. So I'll take the last modified method as the method to it. So that is what overriding. Overriding means just replacing the last driven to the existing one. Are you getting my words?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Overloading means same
Replacing?
name multiple. Replacing the last return code. Completely replacing the last return code.
Okay, ma'am.
That is overriding. It only possible when there is an inheritance property among them. If there is no inheritance, no overridden will be there. Yes, please look at this abstract class. Just it will tell what are the methods there in it, but it will not reveal what it is doing. That is what an abstract class. Abstract method also will do the same thing. Here, an example, abstract class shape, 3 variables are taken, assigning some values, whether that shape belongs to which kind of shape, rectangular, triangular, circular, such kind of things we are into the practical. So if you take variables, depending upon the variable intake, it comes under its type. For rectangle, opposite sides are equal, so 2 values are enough. For a triangle, 3 variables has to be taken. For a circle, it just extend it with the radius only. With the help of radius, it will just complete the complete circle. So depending upon the scenario, it will be taken, right? But it will not reveal the complete method of it. It will just tell what it is doing, but how it is doing, it will not tell. Next important topic is package. This is very, very important. Ma. If you find any difficulty, please let me know now itself. Right? In our programming languages, up till now, we are having certain predefined header files and all, where our function methods will be written and they are getting executed. Suppose we are in need of any subroutine, we'll invoke that header file, a particular function, header file is attached to our file, it will get executed with the code. Our function will getting run. In the same way, Java is a programming language which is supported with a method called package. Organizing more classes into the group. That means some predefined classes. Classes meant by what? Functions and variables. Some predefined classes and variables are there in my Java programming language. Whenever I was in need, I'll use them. That is what the intention of this packages. But this packages will not contain only one class. It contains various classes according to the requirement. For example, IO is a package in the Java which contains various input-output related classes. The class name is data input string. It can be called as java.io.data input string. Package name completely I have to indulge that into my program now. So java.star.util, java.util.star, java.lang.star. That means Lang is a package where it has inbuilt classes which are used for our programs to execute our tasks. So here, data input stream, which is used for input output functions. All right. And an interface. What is an interface? An interface declared within another class, or interface package statements are nested interface. Nested interface means what? Class inside the another class, which will have the methods to be modified by it, but it will take the method definition later on, right? So consider a class X used as an interface Y, and therefore it implements the method declared in the Y. Now a new method is to be added into the interface Y for an enhancement, then X should also implement it, which is not done so far. What is the meaning of it? If there is a class and if there is an interface, I want to use the method from the interface. In order to use it, I have to define it in this class, then use it. Okay, I'll just detailedly tell among them. First, please look into the package. Package means what? Collection of classes which are needed to my program. In order to include them into my code, I have to write it as java.io. That package name .star. I have to import all kinds of functions related to that package. So here, how to define a package. It is a good practice to use a package for the program that Java takes the current folder as a default package, and if now no package statement appears at the top. In order to create a new package, the keyword package must be used in the first command line operand. Package, my package. I just want to create my own package. That means I just want to create my own classes. Always keep it as a public because it can be used by everywhere and anywhere at any time. Okay. If someone package name is my package or my class, whatever the thing, please, if you want to take anything as a package, first define it with the word called package space that. Okay. Then import. Always, if you want to use whatever the methods there in your package into your class, always write import my package dot star. My package is your package name. Dot star means what all there in that my package, they'll get implemented into your code wherever you are using it. Okay. We'll see one example. Yes, package, my package. I took one class, balance. In that variable is name, balance, and I'm assigning with the constructor and I'm printing that with the name. In another class, account details. I just want to print them. Now, the file is compiled with two classes in the constructor. What are those two classes? Balance and account. Where they are written under my package. Now package lo classes unnai? Balance, account. Both are there. Now I have to run one file after the another file. That means one class after the another class. Then how can I run it? Java my package, that is my package name dot which class you want to get executed now, that I have to specify in it. And before that I have to specify the class path of it. And previously, in order to execute the Java packages and all, we have set one class path. Now we are executing the class path with our own package. So in the class path, we need to change the last location as your package folder, whether you have saved it in the D drive or E drive, according to your interest. Please change the class path and then set the values to it. And access towards the classes. If the package is a private, default, or public or privated, same class the access is compulsorily given, whether it is a private, public, or protected. Same class members can be used by any function, any method within the class. Same package, subclass means private can't be used. Same class, not same package. In the package, I can have more than one class. So one class private members can't be inherited to the another class. So public protected members can be accessed. Private members can't be accessed in the packages. Same package, none subclasses, the same thing. Maybe subclasses or without subclasses, only one single class or more than one single class, whatever the thing might be, private members can't be accessible. Different packages and different classes. Only the public protected can be inherited. Default cannot be inherited. And completely different packages, different sub-functions. In that situation, only the public members can be accessible. Even the protected things can't be accessible. Protected things also not able to access the values. Okay. And here, what is the importance of this package means, package not only contains a single function or a single method, it also contains multiple methods and multiple classes.
మరి క్లాస్ ఎవరు తింటారు?
క్లాసా ఇంకెవరైనా పెట్టి వాళ్ళని నిమ్మనండి. ఓకేనా మహేశ్వరి? Always remember that the utility library, which is the standard part of your Java, which will support all the packages and imported them. So how you need to import them is import space java.util.star or some specific thing you want to specify, you can specify. If you specify star, no, complete util package lo emem unnay anni classes import avutayi. If you specify the class name, that particular class only is useful in the pack program. That is the difference they just want to convey to you. Okay. Then the next, interface. Abstract concept, one more ahead. An interface is used to expect or express class another than inherit from its parents. An interface is a collection of constants, default methods, and method declaration. Without the method implementation, method implementations will not be there. You have to write the implementation of it, but method name will be there. That is what an interface. Now, please get a clarity about an interface properly. By this, I'll conclude the class today. Okay, I'll just explain about interface repeatedly. I'm sorry, interface repeatedly. Try to get that into the mind. There makes a lot of sense between a class and interface, but mostly all the people will tell that class and interface are same. No. So they are having certain differences. We'll learn that them clearly. Okay. An interface provides an outline, just like an abstract class. It will not reveal the implementation part of it, but it just gives us what is there in it. అదేంటో తెలుస్తుంది కానీ అదేం చేస్తుందో తెలియదు మనకి. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్. అండ్ a child class that extends a parent class may also implement an interface of his own method or his own way he can write the method. అంటే ఒక ఇంటర్ఫేస్ ఉంది, ఇంటర్ఫేస్ లో మెథడ్ డిక్లరేషన్ మాత్రమే ఉంది, డెఫినేషన్ లేదు. అది మీరు ఇన్హెరిట్ చేశారనుకోండి, యూ కెన్ రైట్ యువర్ ఓన్ డెఫినేషన్. దర్ ఇస్ నో రిస్ట్రిక్షన్ దట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆల్రెడీ డిఫైన్డ్ లైక్ దిస్, యూ కాంట్ చేంజ్ ద డెఫినేషన్. నో, I can write my own definition. Some other class can write its own definition, depending upon the user interest. That is the meaning of this interface. Interface will provide the variables and function templates. That means how the function has to be. It will just tell only that. What is your part in that function, you can indulge into it. So certain similarities among the class and interface. An interface is also written as a Java file with Java extension. An interface can contain any number of methods as your class. A variable of an interface type can be used to reference the implemented class type object, just like a base variable. Right? Then difference between the interface and a class. Interface cannot be initiated. That means I can't initialize any values to the interface. Whereas a class, I can do it with the help of a constructor. Interface does not have any constructor. That was the next point. All the methods in an interface are abstract. They don't have any definition. They are just declared. Whereas in the class, we can declare or we can't define. It depends upon you. All data members must be static final, must be fixed. An interface cannot be extended by class. Only another interface can extend it. That means if you want to inherit any method from one interface to the another interface, I can't inherit it. Sorry, from one class to interface, I can't inherit it. But among the interfaces, I can inherit it. A class can implement multiple interfaces. It is not necessary that, example, interface A undi, interface B undi, interface C undi. Na class name test. Class is test. I am inheriting the properties of interface A, B, C. That means at the single time, for a single scenario to be implemented, I can have multiple inheritance to take into the part. But multiple classes can't take at a time. Single class can take multiple inheritance. Okay? First and important difference among the class and interface is, it looks similar, but I can't give any value to the variable, nor I cannot define anything in the interface. Whereas in the class, I can do it. Okay? Please look at the definition of an interface once again.
Ma'am, single class cannot take multiple?
Single class can take multiple interfaces.
Okay.
Multiple classes can't take multiple interfaces at a single instance. Are you getting my point? Multiple interfaces can be used by a single class. I can use it. ఇప్పుడు class test wanted to use the interface, class test2 wanted to use the interface, means sometimes you will be getting some error manipulations because you are writing the same function with some other different definition. The other fellow want to define it with some other definition, means overriding is given over there. So that could be sometimes a problem. That's the reason multiple interfaces can be used in a single class. But multiple classes cannot use the interfaces at a time. One interface usage after one class. Okay? Defining an interface?
Yes, ma'am.
Definition is just like a class. What is a class? Class is a collection of variables and methods. In order to access a class member, what do we need? An object. In the same way, we'll have even for the interface, but the thing is, we don't give any value, nor we won't define anything. So the example here is, we need to write the keyword interface with the interface name. Whatever the variables you want to give, you can give it. Whatever the methods you want to write it, you can write it. But only the declaration, not the definition. If you look into it, if you look into this example of an interface, final int a constant. I'm giving a variable value to it 32 and a pi with some value. Then method A, I'm not defining what that method A is doing, what that method B is doing. Here static word means fixed with some value. That's the reason I'm giving a value to it. So repeatedly telling the same point that it is similar like class, but the definition of the method is not possible. Following rules, certain rules when you are using interfaces. First one is class can implement an interface, must implement each method in the interface. Suppose a class want to implement one interface. That interface has 5 methods. We need to use all those 5 methods for our class. That is the first rule. Second rule, each method must be public. That means it should not be private. Whatever the methods you are invoking it in your class, which is extending from an interface, it should be public. It can't be private. Constants from the interface can be used as if they had been defined in the class. Some variable is there in the interface. Whatever the value you want to give it, you can give it in your class. Should not be redefined in the class. That means redefined means renaming of the variable, or else using the same variable name which is there in the interface is not acceptable. Multiple interfaces can be given with comma separator. That means interface A, B, C are there. I'm using it in a single class. Extends to that interface A, comma B, comma C. I can implement all in it. There is no condition. First condition is that it can't, if you want to implement an interface, you need to implement all the functions related to that interface, and each function must be public. Whatever the value defined in the interface, if you want to change it, you can change it. But please, duplicate name can't be given into the class. Multiple inheritance can be given into the function or a class by using a comma operator. Nested interface means what? Interface within an interface. How the class will be their class within the class? The same way, interface within the interface. Usually, we'll take an example and we'll see. Please look at this last slide. Interface display. I'm just taking a method called by the name void show. In that, I'm writing another interface message. First interface name is what? Display. Under that, I'm taking one more interface that is message. In that, only one function that is MSG. Now we are trying to define it, its definition in the class which is getting implemented. So public class name is what? Test. What it is implementing? Display and display dot message, because message is a inner interface to it. So in order to access the message interface, I have to access the display. So display dot message. So what are the methods are there into the class test now? Show and message. In order to define them, definition, I'm writing here public void show. Under the class test, I am writing. So to show means to display one message. What is this message? Hello, it is a nested interface. Then in the main method, I am declaring an object which is dereferenced by the test method. Then I'm invoking the show and message. I should not use the different object. I have to use with nested objects. Display dot message. Separate object should be there for that nested interface. If you clearly look at here, if you want to access the method of the display interface, please take the object d dot show. And nested interface is what? Message. Display dot message object I have to create. With that object, I have to access the method msg. And dm dot show, if I show it, no, show is not having any scope in the message interface. So how can it will be accessible with the object? So it is wrong. So it is not acceptable, right? Are you getting my words? Suppose if you want to access any nested package methods means the nested object should be declared. Then only we can access it. Please look at this example for a while. You will understand it a better. Please look at the main method first. Mostly you should look at the function invoking of the nested interface. What is that? With which object it is getting invoked? Can I go with the next one? Yes, extending interface. An interface can be extended. That means inherited into a class. That means a new existing interface will be coming into a picture. Right? So interface A with a method 1. Then interface B extends A. That means what is the method there in the A can be accessed by the interface B with the method 2 and with some value. Then class test implements B. Whatever there in the A have been imported into the B. Whatever there in the overall B can be implemented into the test. So overall method 1, method 2 can be accessible with the class test object. Okay, that is the sense of it. Extending the packages. In the next class, is there any next class for me or is it over by this week? Can anyone please respond?
Next class 7 and 8, ma'am.
7 and 8. Okay,
Yes.
okay. By that, I'll finish the last unit, ma.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Are you clear so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Please
Yes,
try
ma'am.
to look at the concept, and if lab is provided to you, please try to execute them. Then only you'll have some basic knowledge related to Java. Okay? Is there any other class? Today we have discussed completely about the packages, interfaces, followed with the string class, followed with that abstract class, inheritance. So what are the topics we have discussed up till now? First, we have looked into the string class, followed with the inheritance, some types, then abstract class, then a package, interfaces. What is meant by a package? It's a collection of functions or an interface or a classes. Collection of classes. What is an interface? It is a collection of methods and variables, but the definition can't be provided to it. It's just like an abstract class. Okay? Are you clear so far? In the next class, I'll be teaching Java exception handling, followed with some other. I'll stop. I think you have some other subject, no? You be in the class? Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
The next topic which I want to convey, please wait a second. I'll just tell you what are the leftover topics in my subject. Yes, exception handling and Java collections, Java database connectivity, JDBC. I'll discuss in the 7th, and AWT event handling and Java virtual programming. With the Sing, I'll be discussing them in the 8th. Okay? 5 more topics are there. 3 topics on 7th and 2 topics on 8th. Okay? Am I audible, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
7th, I'll be discussing 3 more topics. 8th, I'll be concluding 2 more topics. By that, I can end my syllabus. Okay. Any doubts from your side? Okay, then. I'll be leaving then. You be for the next class.